guys, my name is Iasmina and welcome to my channel! For those of you who recognize me, I've decided to rebrand and refocus my channel around books and writing, so if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, great, please stick around. If not, that's also fine. I've been on and off on YouTube for the past 10 years, and I've been writing for way more than that, and so I kind of thought to myself, I know how to YouTube, I know how to write, I definitely read a lot of books, so why not put all of them together and join in on the fun? So as a kind of reintroduction to my channel, I've decided to do the Authortube Newbie Tag, originally created by Jenna Streety, who I'll link down below. This tag has 13 questions, so let's jump right in. Question number 1 is, how did you find out about Authortube? I started watching book-related videos on YouTube maybe about 6 years ago, and one of the first channels I watched was TASCAM, who also happened to be a writer and who used to make videos about NaNoWriMo and things like that, and they were always super interesting to me to see other writers' processes and how they do things. And in general, it was just really nice hearing other writers talk about writing. And so from her, I found other channels such as Jenna Moresi and Kim Chance and plenty of others. Question number 2 is, what genres do you write in? So I primarily write contemporary and fantasy, mostly under the young adults age category, but I also plan on writing adult fiction in the future, and I also really want to try science fiction. I have a lot of ideas for that, but I have written contemporary and I have written fantasy novels. So those are the two main genres I write in. Third question is, what is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category of story? Children's, YA, NA, adult, etc. My preferred writing tense is past perfect. Point of view would be third person limited. First person present tense is actually really difficult to write, but I kind of made myself learn how to do it for my new book, and it's really fun learning, but it's also a lot more difficult than I thought. And as I've previously mentioned, my preferred age category is young adult. Question number 4 is, are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser? So for those of you who may not know, writers usually tend to fall into one of 3 categories. You're either a plotter, which means that you plan out your book, you outline everything, and you write at least all the main scenes, but even going so far as to write all the character sheets and all the little details of the story before you actually sit down and write. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, there are pantsers, an expression which comes from writing by the seat of your pants, which basically means you just sit down and start your book and you have no idea where you're going, and you just kind of figure it out as you go along. And then there are planters, which fall somewhere in the middle. So I would definitely categorize myself in the third category as a planter, as in I plot some things, but I do love the sense of discovering your story as you go along. I mainly use the beat sheet method that comes from this book, Save the Cat, by Blake Snyder, which is basically 15 main beats of your story that you plan out beforehand, and then you basically connect the dots, and that part is pantsying. But I'll definitely make separate videos talking about the beat sheet method because I think it's super helpful. Question number 5 is, are you a self-published, published, or yet to be published? Unfortunately, I am yet to be published, and as for traditional versus self-published, I am currently querying agents to get into traditional publishing, but I'm also super pro self-publishing, and I'm also researching editors and professional cover designers and all sorts of people who could help me self-publish. And so I'll probably end up doing both. It probably comes down to whichever opportunity comes first. Question number 6 is, what publishing company, literary agent, and or printing company are you represented by or use? If you're not yet published, what is your dream publishing house and or literary agent? Honestly, I haven't thought much about this because I don't really want to be disappointed in case I don't get my dream literary agent or my dream publishing company, and I think there's plenty of those to go around, and the right one will come. Question number 7 is, what Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? So the main reason I decided to start making videos again was to document my journey to becoming a published author. That means that you'll be seeing a lot of progress videos on my different projects, and also a lot of processes and where I'm at with my different projects. But I will also be doing craft videos going into more detail on how to write this and or that. And also videos about the publishing industry and how it works, you know, how do you get a book from idea to finished product? Because I think a lot of people are misinformed about this, and I had to learn all these things from random resources, and I think compiling all this information into one channel of these videos might be helpful to some people, so that's what I'd like to do. And as you can see behind me, I read a lot of books and I love talking about them. So I'll also be making booktube related content such as book hauls, book reviews, and everything books. But I will be focusing on writerly content for the most part. Question number 8 is, when did you start writing? I believe I was around 8. Question number 9 is, what was the first story you ever wrote? So I don't remember the specifics of it, but I remember I wrote it for my grandmother, and it was a comedy, kind of thing, slapstick comedy, and I read it aloud to my grandmother, and she laughed so hard, tears were streaming down her face, and she had difficulty breathing, so I almost killed my grandmother with my story. But yeah, needless to say, I haven't stopped writing since. Question number 10 is, what authors have inspired your writing the most? The obvious one is J.K. Rowling. Harry Potter made me fall in love with reading, and so I wanted to try and write things myself. And one of the first things I did was emulate J.K. Rowling's writing and actually write Harry Potter fanfiction, although I didn't know it was fanfiction at the time. I wasn't aware of the concept. This definitely helped me develop my own writing style. In terms of contemporary authors, John Green is my favorite and my biggest inspiration. My contemporary books are heavily inspired by his writing. And coming back to the fantasy world, Brandon Sanderson and Patrick Rothfuss are my heroes. Question number 11. Do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get to writing whenever you find the time? So actually, I am reading these questions off of this passion planner that I mainly use to schedule in my writing and to track my progress in writing and publishing journey. I also use my passion planner to track how many days I've written and how much I've written. For example, as you can see, this past week and a half, all these gold stars mean I've written 500 words. So that's actually quite good. Question number 12. Do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything out by hand, or use a blend of those? And where do you write in general, as in location-wise? So I type on my computer, the actual book, but then I also write by hand, mostly my outlines and my scenes and any notes I might have. It really helps me focus when it's just me and the paper and not a screen. And because of that, I also have a notebook that I keep specifically for my writing, so that when I want to get away from the screen, or if I'm out and about, it's sometimes easier to write by hand, so that I can still work. And finally, question number 13. What are you most looking forward to now that you're part of Authortube? I am super excited to meet people who love books and who love writing and who love talking about those things, and just be a part of this wonderful community. Writing can be a lonely endeavor at times, and I think it's really, really important to have people around you that you can talk to about any difficulties you may have, or just in general, just to share the good things and the bad things with. So it would be great if you could leave a comment or follow me on Twitter, and let's chat about all things books. And that's the end of the Authortube Newbie Tag. I may be a Authortube newbie. I am definitely not a YouTube newbie. I've been doing this now for 10 years, almost. Wow. Anyway guys, it's great to be back, and you should expect new videos from me every Monday. So please remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and click the little notifications icon so you can be notified whenever I upload new content. That's how people do it these days, right? But thanks so much for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.